well and having the most incredible day as always. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are diving into something a little bit different for my channel. And if you have watched me for a very long time, and when I say a very long time I mean about 5 years, I did used to post a lot about books and reading and what I would read, but I kind of went off reading for a while, and when I say a while I mean 5 years. And over the past sort of 2.5 weeks I've become obsessed with reading, to the point where I read 5 books within about 2.5 weeks, which is insane for me considering I work 9 till 6 Monday to Friday. I film on Saturdays, I do stuff with Ryan on Sundays. I have still somehow read 5 books in the space of about 2 weeks, which is insane. But I thought what I would do is, and I'm going to say this now because I might change my mind, but I thought I would do like a monthly wrap up of what I've read, what I liked, what I didn't like. I'm not going to go into too much detail about each book, so I'm not going to give any spoilers away, so don't worry. I'm just going to give kind of a general, is consensus the right word, like a general vibe of the book, give you my thoughts on it, what I liked, what I didn't, and then I'm going to rate it out of 5. That is what I'm going to be doing. So you are going to see a slight theme within these books because they're all by one author, which is a massive, I don't know, I've never been obsessed with an author's way of writing apart from right now, and shock, it's Colleen Hoover. Who doesn't love her work at the moment? So these are all by Colleen Hoover. However, I'm open to reading anything, so leave me some comments down below, leave me some recommendations, what you think I should read, what you think I would love, and I'll definitely get them on order. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. I hope you guys enjoy and carry on watching. So the first book I'm going to talk about is the one that started it all, and that is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This went absolutely viral on TikTok. It was so incredibly popular, and I kind of missed the hype. I wasn't really on book TikTok for a while, and I never really realised that it was even that popular until Christmas came around, and Ryan's brother's girlfriend Kaylee wanted it for Christmas, so me and Ryan bought it for her for Christmas, and I only bought this 3 weeks ago, if that, so it has taken me a long time to think, oh, I might read that, I might give it a go, but I just fancied going into Waterstones one day, and I picked it up and I thought, do you know what, let's just get it, and I could not put it down. And I'm going to try and give you a general description of the book without giving it away. So essentially it's about a girl called Lily who in the past, her mum and dad had quite a rough relationship, and she met her first love called Atlas, and it's about Lily in the present. So she meets somebody in the present, and then she also kind of talks about her past as well. So it's quite nice because it gives you 2 kind of stories at once, which I really enjoyed. And I'm not going to go into any more detail because I don't want to ruin it, but what I will say is that it definitely has some twists, some turns. I will say I didn't cry. A lot of people have read this book saying that they bawled their eyes out and it made them cry. It didn't make me cry simply because I don't want to say it was an obvious ending, because it wasn't. The actual ending was not obvious at all, but I think it ended how I wanted it to end, and that is why I enjoyed it. If it didn't, I probably would have cried. Do you know what I mean? But it ended how I wanted it to. It's such a lovely book, and Colleen's style of writing is beyond up my street. It is, I just absolutely love it, and I am reading another one of her books now, so I'm on book 6 in about 3 weeks. Ridiculous, but this is the first one I read, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's such a beautiful story. I would give It Ends With Us probably a 4 out of 5. I really did enjoy this. I would recommend it to a friend, and I probably would read it again. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for this one. So the second book that I picked up by Colleen was Ugly Love, and again I'd heard a lot about this online, and I thought, you know what, let's give it a go, let's give it a read. And again, a lot of people have strong opinions about this book. I really liked it. I did really like it. However, it wasn't my favourite. It was not my favourite. I have got my favourite so far. Have I? Oh, they're all just so good in different ways. But this one, yeah, it was okay. I would probably read it again. Essentially what it's about a girl called Tate who moves in with her brother. He's a pilot, so he's never really home, and there's a guy across the hall who's also a pilot who knows her brother. And they basically start this like no strings attached relationship. Friends with benefits, you guys know what I mean. And it starts off, I mean, Miles is the guy obviously across the hallway. He's had quite a rough past, which makes him very reluctant to want a relationship, which I kind of don't like because it just gives me red flag energy, do you know what I mean? but you do sort of love him at the same time, which makes it very hard to hate, you know what I mean? So yeah, I do love this book. It was really, really good. I would read it again. I would recommend it, to be honest. It was good, it just was not my favourite. So that is Ugly Love. It's just, I would say, again, obvious ending though. I feel like this one, you kind of knew what was going to happen, so yeah, but it was good. So out of 5, I would probably give Ugly Love a 3, which I know seems quite harsh, but I am comparing it to the other ones that I've read and comparing it to future, I don't know, a 3. I feel like a 3 is good. I would give it a 3.5, but if we're going to stick to solid numbers, I would give this one a 3. It was good. I would recommend it to a friend. It just wasn't my favourite. The next book was the one I read next, and that is November 9. This book pulled at my heartstrings. I loved this book so much. Now, if you want to read this book, read this one first, because it does relate to the characters in this book a little bit, and I don't want it to kind of give anything away. It's only something minor, but then you kind of know what happens at the end, so I would read this one after. But this one was just so beautiful, and essentially it's about a girl called Fallon, and she is in a house fire, so half of her body is completely burnt, completely scarred, and she meets a guy called Ben at a restaurant, and it's just about their relationship. And Fallon essentially doesn't want to be in a relationship for about 5 years because her mum passed away and always said to her, like, don't fall in love till you're 23, and she meets Ben when she's 18. So instead of falling in love with him and kind of going against what her mum wanted her to, they meet once a year, same date, same time, same place, with no contact in between, and they see whether the spark is still there or not. And honestly, it's just such a beautiful story. I love this one so much. It ended exactly how I wanted it to end, and I would 100% read this again. It was so beautiful, and firstly, like, the cover, stunning, but it's just such a lovely story, and you find a lot about Ben and his background, and Fallon and her background, and you just kind of get to know the characters really well in this book, and I loved it. So yeah, if you want a really good read, I recommend this one a lot. After this one, obviously, just don't want to ruin it, but yeah, this one was really good, and I would give this one, I'd give this a 5 out of 5. I love this book. So yeah, 5 out of 5. Beautiful. The next book is Regretting You, again by Colleen Hoover. She has my heart at the moment. I love her books so much, but Regretting You is a lovely book. It's not all about the romance. It has got a lot of life lessons and mistakes you can make and things like to rectify it. It's just such a beautiful story, and essentially what it's about is Morgan is the mum, and you've got Clara, who's the daughter. Now that's it kind of goes backwards and forwards between Clara and Morgan. A lot of Colleen's books actually do that, so they go between the characters, which I really enjoy because it gives me a better visual of how the characters act and how their personalities are, if that makes sense. But essentially Clara meets Miller, who is like the bad boy. Clara's dad sort of warns her away from him, and then loads of life events happen, and the ending is completely different to the start. So I'm not going to give you any more clues because it will completely ruin the book for you, but it had me gasping. Like, I didn't expect for things to happen that happened in this book. I was shook to the core, and I love this one. A definite 5 out of 5 for me. I would recommend it to anybody who fancies like an easy read or something. Oh, it was just such a lovely book, and I just loved it. So again, Colleen Hoover. Not shocked. I have bought a lot of Colleen Hoover books over the past 2 weeks, and I'm not going to stop because, again, her writing is just so easy to read, so up my street, and I'm just drawn in all the time by her stories. So yeah, this one was brilliant, and a 5 out of 5, so I love that. And the last book that I read in May was Verity. Now, this one was totally different. Ryan actually picked this one for me because I got to a point where I didn't know what one I wanted to read next. So I just got up an Amazon list and I just said, look, just pick one. He went for this one because he liked the cover and he liked the blurb because it is more of a thriller as opposed to a romance story. It has a lot of romance in it, do not get me wrong. It is definitely a more adulty book, if you know what I mean. However, it was so good. The ending, I love a book where I don't know what's going to happen at the end, and this was one of those books. The ending had me so shocked and so not emotional because I didn't cry, but it had me emotional feeling. Like, it was so good and so unexpected, and I absolutely loved it. I will say it is a little bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I read this at night time and it would freak me out a little bit because there are some things in this book that do kind of make me feel a bit like, you know what I mean? It is quite graphic, but it's insane. Essentially what it's about is a girl called Loan who is an author, and she's really struggling with her career, and she basically gets a job of a lifetime where she gets to co-write or write the final 3 books of a famous author who unfortunately had a car accident, so she couldn't complete it, and she basically goes to Verity, who is the author's house, to go through all of her things in the office and kind of try and find any tips, tricks, clues on the last 3 books, so she kind of has somewhere to start. She then finds an autobiography of Verity's, who at this point can't talk, can't walk, and it's very graphic, and it makes you definitely think twice about, I don't know, it's just such a good book. You have got Verity's husband in this as well, who's called Jeremy, and he is at the house with his little boy, obviously looking after Verity, and it's just such a beautiful book. I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say it's beautiful, actually it isn't beautiful at all. It's actually really scary and very shocking. So yeah, I love the way it was written, that was beautiful, but yeah, it's just not what you expect. If you want a book that's gonna give you twists and turns all the way through, this is the one for you. 5 out of 5, obsessed with it. I would highly read it again, 100%. Obviously it's different now because I know what happens, but it's so good. So good. So those are all of the books I read throughout May. Now I do really want to keep up this series and do what I read throughout X, Y and Z, but some months I may not read as much as others just because I know what I'm like and I do get this book bug, and then once I've read all of Colleen's books I think I'm gonna kind of be in a bit of a lull and not know where to go from there. So do leave me some recommendations down below, and I will try and do this either every month, every other month, or kind of when I've read a few books to kind of go through them and give you my thoughts on them. And I'm really sorry this month was very Colleen Hoover heavy. I feel like the next few videos of mine in regards to books will be Colleen Hoover heavy because I'm just obsessed with her writing at the moment. So again, leave me any book recommendations down below. Stuff that's similar to Colleen's work I would love, so anything like that, leave it down below. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you're reading at the moment, any thoughts and opinions on any of the books I've mentioned. I would love to know. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you so much. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!